This particular program under Institutions Innovation Council program is an initiative of Ministry of Education. The Ministry of Education Innovation Cell in collaboration with All India Council for Technical Education in higher education institution, that is imbibing the culture of innovation and ecosystem in educational institution. With regards to this, CIMS has Institutional Innovation Council. CIMS has IIC Council, under which a speech and debate competition or debate activity which is going on today with based on how entrepreneurs are contributing to the national growth and their importance, and again state and central government initiative for promoting the entrepreneurship ecosystem and nurturing future entrepreneurs. So these are two topics where it has been decided in the council to go ahead with debate and the speech activity over here. Fine. So for this, I would like to welcome IIC coordinator Mr. Rakesh sir. I would like to welcome and I would like to welcome Mr. Srinidhi sir. And I would like to welcome Srilata madam as well. And I would like to welcome all the participants over here for the speech and now we'll start the activity. Where we start the activity in such a way that where we'll be giving 2 minutes for every team, where you can share your opinion, whatever that you have about the two topics. You can just say the topic and you can share your opinion first, and debate things will happen after sharing your opinion. So every team will have 2 minutes. Fine. So we'll start from the fastest team.
Good morning. Our topic
And while team is speaking, I want everybody to listen.
Today's our topic is how entrepreneurs are not contributing in nation growth and their importance. Entrepreneurs are not contributing proper initiative in as their taxation or some of economical conditions and environmental effects. There are entrepreneurs have to be concentrated on the not concentrating on the environmental growth and supporting to the environment. They are concentrating on their profits and to continue with their business.
I would like to take a stress and health issue that is not taken by the entrepreneurs. That is, as per the survey, that is 2021 survey, as per the California, there is 73% of the entrepreneurs are suffering from, and they are not able to take up their stress level and manage their financial problems. And as per the Deloitte survey, that is 43% of entrepreneurs are mentally stressed and not able to manage all that financial activities.
I would like to say that tax evasion done by the entrepreneurs, where when the companies they are earning about 2.4 trillion tax evasion gap is there between the entrepreneurs, where they are not paying the tax as per their earnings. When I would like to say that the tax share manipulation, where the company which is having a 4 top banks, which is having a more than 50% of shareholding in them. And I would like to say that limited women entrepreneurs. Among the entrepreneurs, there are only 14% of women entrepreneurs are there in the entrepreneurs.
Good morning, everyone. We speak for how entrepreneurs plays a very vital role towards the growth of the nation. We consider the entrepreneurs and enterprises plays a very core and vital role in bringing together all the technology, people, capital, resources together from globally, and it helps in developing our domestic country as well as the globally recognition. and how important is that for our growth economically, socially, and in all the other aspects.
Good morning all. I would like to speak about the tax revenue and economic growth, where the entrepreneurs contribute much in the government revenues like reinvesting in the infrastructure, education, healthcare, manufacturing, service and other industries. And in the overall 104 million total populations, the entrepreneurs are 58.5 million, where the even the rural sectors also have the more entrepreneurs, and the women is 14%, whereas 8.05 million and 20% of MSME sectors are being referred.
Good afternoon. Indian startups are introducing innovation and creative to new GDP growth and new jobs to creating a employment generation and more than 250,000 of job employment, and industries are creating GDP 28% of, and the service sectors 53%, and comparing to the last year increasing 5% in the industrial and service sectors.
Entrepreneurs play a critical role in driving the economic growth, job creations, employment, and innovations. They also focus on diversifying the economy and regional development and innovations.
So good morning all. The topic today is how entrepreneurs are contributing to India and to its economy. So entrepreneurs basically on where idea is converted into reality. And in entrepreneurship, in India, in startup, India is one of the major thing that India is aiming currently. So what is Make in India is, so we have to manufacture our own goods. So entrepreneurship is one of the such zooming thing that we have to be. And according to Global Entrepreneurship Report, among 48 countries, India stands second place, where in 2021 we were standing at the 16th place, and by 2024 we are at the second place. So how we are zooming and how we can like make it into first place by next year is what we have chosen to speak.
And Indian entrepreneurship ಹೇಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ entrepreneurship helping in Indian economy by contributing in GNP, GDP and per capita income of individuals of Indian, and it help entrepreneurship and startup are helping like growth in like infrastructure of Indian and thank you.
Anyone?
Good morning everyone. This is my team. She is Archana and she is Achala. I have taken the topic of how entrepreneurs are contributing in nation's growth and its importance. Yes, entrepreneurs plays a vital role in improving the Indian economy by increasing GDP, GNP and per capita income. Thank you.
Good afternoon everyone, and we are from MBA B section. Myself Sushant, and he is Sudeep, and he is Venkatesh. And our topic is how state and central government initiative for promoting entrepreneurship and ecosystem and nurturing for an entrepreneurship, how these are failing and how these are not achieving the target up to their mark. For example, the Startup India initiative which was introduced in 2014 has aimed to increase the manufacturing by 25%, but they only increased it only 16%. And in India currently 85 startups are starting and are registering every day, and 95% of startups are closing every day. And other than that, compared to the America and India, the startup culture has a huge difference compared to their population and our population, and we have a less like startup hubs, and we have a less growth for a startup ecosystem, and we have a less support compared to the other countries, which is the main reason. And lack of proper idea for a startup is which is lacking in our system. So thank you.
My name is Ranjit, and this is Suvit and Srinivas. So we are and my topic is how entrepreneurs are contributing in nation's growth and their importance. our viewpoint is not about what really entrepreneurship is all about. For us, it's important that how 90% of startup in India fail within first 5 years. Looking at the percentage of failure, it doesn't really makes a note that it really contributes to the GDP or growth of the nation, but initial certain schemes are really helpful towards the growth of entrepreneurship. It's always about the taxpayers' money, where it is invested in any sector by the government. So it's important that the utilization of money is really utilized in different sectors, else like agricultural sector, which is actually providing the growth percentage of 17%, and it could be improvised if the funds are really given to them also. So entrepreneurship is not the only way the business or the country would grow. As India is a mixed economy, it must be really calculated around how percentage is really claimed. Capital or market, capitalistic economy or any other sort of economy. Other economies like USA, they really believe on the businesses and other aspects. But when it comes to Indian economy, the regions we live in really matter about the businesses or about the agricultural sectors, or which is the backbone of our nation. So the contribution of entrepreneurship is not that much, or it can be termed as it's in a minimal stage right now. So other sectors are to be supported. So that's it.
Mukib. So I am going to speak about the pros of how entrepreneurs are contributing to national growth. So entrepreneurs are not only a business owner. According to me, entrepreneurs are the backbone of innovation and product creation. So talking about entrepreneurs increases the economic growth and job creation. So entrepreneurs are responsible for increasing the economic growth of the country, and they reduce the unemployment in a country by producing more amount of jobs. Then innovation and technological advancement. Now for every entrepreneur, whenever they come into the field, they are responsible for innovation of new products, and due to this reason, the technology is also advanced. Now wealth creation. Now entrepreneurs not only create wealth for themselves but also for the society. They pay a huge amount of tax, which helps in paying the tax to the government, and the government use those tax to build the infrastructure for the country, which is also beneficial for the country. Increased competition. Now due to increase in competition, the entrepreneurs are responsible to make new products better than the other companies. For example, Samsung and Apple, they almost are the huge rivals, which make them to create the better products to others. And global influence. Now entrepreneurs are responsible for, now whenever a successful entrepreneur is come out from the country, now those entrepreneurs represent the country. So these are my points.
A very warm good afternoon one and all. We are here to present you about how entrepreneurs are contributing in nation's growth and their importance. Without wasting much time, let's move to today's topic. Entrepreneurs are a key part of India's economic growth, driving innovation, job creation and economic development. Now we'll go to that point like creating a job. Entrepreneurs create a new job opportunities to the youngsters, create a new generations to create a more job opportunities where they will lead a livelihoods of their lives. Encouragement of artistic endeavors. The rich and ancient legacy of India is conserved by utilizing entrepreneurship by preserve and promote handicrafting and artistic creations. As we all know, youth is the future of our nation. Entrepreneurship has the power to inspire young people in areas and provide them with a range of opportunities to pursue entrepreneurship as a vocation. Rises the national nation income. As we all know, entrepreneurs are very much creative and innovation. They will create and attract the foreign investors to export more goods and services from our country. Thank you.
Entrepreneurs help in the economic growth of India, not only by innovation or other things. It also helps in the India by Atmanirbhar Bharata, by Make in India concept. It will increase the production in India and reduces the import of any product or goods from the outside the country, and it also will help in making Atmanirbhar Bharat, and it will give employment for the, as usual we all know that it will give employment for the many people, and it will also help in developing national security by making the Atmanirbhar Bharat concept, and many government schemes that are provided to entrepreneurs. Most of the entrepreneurs are not using means many of the entrepreneurs are not knowing about that. Not entrepreneurs, like students, we have not know about that concept. If we know about that concept, we will help to we will become an entrepreneur by the government scheme. It will provide more than less interest, and it will also give guidelines and work experience, such other things. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My topic is entrepreneurs are contributing to the nation, and I have an economic risk. Like when the business will fall down, it directly affects to the economic conditions. And my question is how to solve it. And I have another question, like uncertainty, like high risk of failures. For example, in the pandemic situation, so many startups has been closed due to the problems or like no profitability like that. So how to solve that problems in that situation? And I have another question of job employees, like job layoffs also removing of their jobs from the certain places. So they are that also has been conditioned to this way.
Good afternoon, everyone. Like some of my friends have said that implementing new technologies is a good thing, and one more thing is I have a question on that. Like in our daily life, we will see some of the things. It will be owned secure by the data which is taken from some of our technologies, and that can be making spy of us, and it may be not secure for us. So it is implementing is good, but it is not up to where it is. Thank you.
Good afternoon, I am Shashank. These are my teammates Satvik and Sudeep. Today I am going to tell about the entrepreneurs contributing in national growth. Out of 100, only 10 are becoming entrepreneur, and out of 10, only 1 becoming successful entrepreneur. In that, social contribution are job creation, GDP growth, tax revenue, innovation, and export growth. Out of innovation, they can create new products, and they can give a job creation. And coming towards national contribution, they can be an industry leadership, increase productivity, and global recognition. Towards the entrepreneurship, the government will also support to them for that funding and investing infrastructure development, education, and training to them. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Our topic is entrepreneurship contributing in national growth and economy. And in 2021, 14.4% of the entrepreneurs are entered into entrepreneurship, and it's also focused on creating job creations and also economic growth and skills and knowledge. Economic growth like tax reductions, and they are paying a tax and increasing in GDP level, and it's also focused on skill development. So if entrepreneurs are ready to take a risk, they can easily start the entrepreneurships, and they also focus on skill developments, and different schemes are provided by government to start entrepreneurship, and who are ready to take a risk in their life, they can easily come up with entrepreneurship and start their own business.
Good afternoon, everyone, respected teachers and sirs. My topic is about entrepreneurship. I am going to speak about against entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs, as you said, is a backbone of India or any other country. Day to day, the entrepreneurs and as innovation done, basically the thing we should do is to make invention and innovation. The first drawbacks that entrepreneurs facing is lack of fund. Lack of fund that suppose if you are saying that many schemes are available in India, where is the awareness of about that schemes? First thing, that more personal stress. They are facing more personal stress since they are not aware from the stress, and they are not proper of balancing personal life and professional life. They are lacking it. Innovation, one of the main characteristics which is required for the entrepreneurship. Then social inequality. As the India, take the example of India. India is one of the social inequality country. They see as an high class, low class, and CST. There should be a proper class where all the people or all the youngsters should provide same amount of funding and same amount of respect to the. It is all based on the innovations what they provide, and the main thing that entrepreneurs should have is confidence, whether it is right or wrong. The first thing that should enter into the market. Challenges in skill development. There are a lot of programs that are available to, especially for the skill development. Entrepreneurship is to get trained about particular institutions, or it's not only about the institutions in a formal way. We can go into the practical way so that we can experience in real life. As one of the main thing that I want to say is, in 100% of businessmen, they are paying only 2 to 3% of taxpayers. If the percentage is increases, the country GDP and the country can be developed. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am going to talk about the Make in India initiative that was initiated by the government of India in 2014. The main aim of that scheme was to produce the products and goods inside the India. But instead of that, we are looking that instead of manufacturing that, we are just assembling. If we talk about the iPhone, if we talk about the aircraft, if we talk about anything, we are just assembling it. If the Modi government has launched that scheme in 2014, from that day to today, 2024, we have gained a huge leap in exporting the arms. But what we are doing? We are exporting the arms, but most of that arms facility is set up by the foreign contractors. Like if we take the, a perfect example of it, the 114 number of acquisition of aircraft under the MRFA contract. That contract, if many of the foreign companies are contributing in that, they want to sell their aircraft to India, like a Saab Gripen or Boeing or Rafale. But what our government is saying, you have to produce the aircraft inside the country. But actually we are not going to produce it. We are just going to assemble. The foreign contractors, they will come to India, they will set up a facility, and they are going to tell how to do the assemble only. The main key technology and the software development, they are doing in their own country. Only we are assembling it. So the main theme of the the main theme of Make in India is mitigating, defeating. So I think my opinion is that apart from, instead of focusing on the assembling, we have to focus on the manufacturing. We can take the latest example of the Tejas aircraft. India has only one indigenous aircraft, Tejas. We have only one, but still we don't know how to manufacture the engine. Man, you know how to build a car, but you don't know how to build an engine. What is the meaning of car? We don't know how to build an engine. From 1990s, we are building a Kaveri engine. 1990, 10 years, 2024, 35 years. 35 years has been done. We don't know how to create aircraft engine. Without engine, how can we make it fly? So we are asking General Electric, that is the aircraft company of America, we are asking them, give us the engine, and they are asking us to pay more money because they have invested. And apart from asking them more money also, they are delaying it. The first batch of aircraft was about to release in February 2024. Still is about to come December. So the main problem is that we are lacking in the technology. So we don't know how to manufacture. So we are asking others to assemble, to manufacture, and we are going to assemble. So that is the problem. We have to focus more on manufacturing, less on the assembly. Thank you very much.
Yes, you have heard many people speech over here. Whatever that they have spoken, if you have any objections to go against to that, so you can go ahead with that. Yes? Yes, please.
It's not an objection. I'm just having a question that before starting this entrepreneurship club, teachers took an initiative to make students, all the 180 students, to be aware of. Today we are going to conduct an entrepreneurship club activity. So why can't the government of India take an initiative to make the 141 billion people to be aware, whether they are taking the initiative, whether they are going to utilize the schemes or not, that is left to them. But why not the government of India taking initiatives to make the people aware about the schemes.
So his question is, like he is questioning that as we are, we have created a club here and we are conducting entrepreneurial, club activity over here. So that why can't state government and central government take initiatives to create awareness about entrepreneurship and how entrepreneurship has to be invented over here and implemented over here. So that is what his question is. Yes, anybody? Yes, please.
Government of India and also Karnataka especially focus on publishing new schemes. Like there are particular website which provides all government details like Mahiti Kanaja in Karnataka and Make in India website and other government website. We can consume information about it. And General Electric, American company, as they said, they recently made an agreement with the Indian government. They will provide engines to aeroplane engines to India with minimum remunerations.
So if you just observe the newspapers, it is on the 7th side, just a part of a newspaper is mentioned. These are the schemes introduced by Government of Karnataka or Government of India. And in no schools or no colleges or in any public place we can't find any posters or advertisements regarding these schemes. But if it is in case of elections, we see many of the political parties making those schemes and advertisements. They spend a lot of money for such advertisements, and why can't they invest those money in this? And as you said, even about those schemes, Mahiti Kanaja, and we got to know just recently in the classes. But why can't the Government of India take initiatives to make it aware all over the India, not just during the times? What I'm trying to tell is each and everyone should be aware of that. But why can't the Government of India?
To say that Government of India or state government and central government is not taking any initiatives, creating awareness every day. So rather than at the time of elections,
yes.
That is what is your question is.
They have allocated budget, but they are not advertising that we have this kind of budget and we have allocated this amount of money
for awareness programs.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, please.
Do you know about Netflix website?
Netflix, Amazon.
Do you know where Amazon website?
Yeah.
How do you know?
Just by exploring them.
Same thing. You have to explore the entrepreneurs. That's all.
Okay, I will.
You are just mixing the entertainment with the information. Information we have to dig. Entertainment we are interested to dig. The problem is that the entertainment everyone is talking about. The information everyone is talking about. 5-year kids also watching Netflix. How can you compare the Netflix with that information? Everyone know about Netflix.
Try to understand his question. That his question is not about something like a digging information. What you are his question is basically about how do you know about Netflix and Amazon? That is what question is. It is not about something like you are getting into Amazon and Flipkart and whatever it is. You are not getting into that. After that you are talking about it. But his question is, how do you get to know about Amazon and other platforms?
Have you seen the YouTube?
How did you?
YouTube. How do you know YouTube? My question is, YouTube is already inbuilt in mobile application.
Just a minute.
In most of the mobiles, the Netflix and Amazon is already inbuilt. Everyone know that. If you buy a new mobile, just after buying a new mobile, you see, oh, there is an inbuilt Netflix. Everyone know Netflix. Don't mix the Netflix with the government scheme. We have to know about it with our bill. But the mobile companies are making us to search about the Netflix because inbuilt they are giving us that. So just searching for the
so you mean to say that the platform should be inbuilt?
Then knowing the information.
I mean to say. Let me just come back to you. Yes, please.
There is a proverb in Kannada, sir. ಹಸಿವಿದ್ದವನಿಗೆ ಊಟದ ಬೆಲೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. So when we are interested in the particular subject, the things will come around us. That's all. If you are interested in Amazon, the series,
we can go. One thing that I'll just clarify about the awareness that you have. So that as he said, It is not about that where government has to take an initiative every time to get into the society and create awareness about the programs what they are conducting. It is all about our duty also, being an entrepreneurs, being an aspirants of being an entrepreneurs, that we have to dig and we have to go and we have to find. There are n number of state and central government schemes, and there are n number of state and central government programs which are conducted every day. Understand? So there is a platform called Kasata. So where you just go through it per day. More than 500 plus programs are conducted in every higher educational institutions. It is all about their initiatives where they have to get into and they have to dig the information and the platform that they have to choose it. Understand? This is one thing. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, please.
For this team, I have a question. As they said, India is not producing any guns or any aircraft. So there are many weapons which India has already created, such as Asim machine pistol, Dhanush Eagle artillery, PK machine guns, Arjun tanks, Astra, Akasha surface and medium range, then a missile called as Netra. So you said India is not preparing any kind of weapons, but India is producing weapons. It not has that India now, if we want to make in India, we will stop every weapons we are importing from the country and start producing in India only. Now what about the soldiers who are fighting? Okay, so India is going to the stage where they are producing their own capable guns or tanks, but it will take some time. Okay, so that was right.
Yeah. Anybody has?
I have to comment. I didn't say that we are not producing. What is the strength of the aircraft Air Force Squadron? What is the recommended strength of the aircraft squadron? 42. What we have? 31. Why we have 31? Because we got the freedom in 1947. Till date, we don't know how to make engine here. What the government is doing from Jawaharlal Nehru to everything, Atal Bihari Vajpayee to Manmohan Singh.
You mean to say that like India is not producing any engines and India is not producing any guns?
India doesn't have any engine technology. I am talking about that. If you can aircraft, why can't you produce engine? We are relying upon the General Electric. America, they are not giving us engine. 1 year delay. 42 is the recommended squadron strength. 31 we are lacking. In upcoming 2030, we have to retire MiG-21, MiG-29 and MiG-30 also. Then strength will be go to 25. What will happen to our soldiers when the enemy will attack on us now?
So your point is not the safety of the soldiers. You are saying that the machines should be produced in the country.
India.
Yeah. Now
government should invest that.
Let me speak now. So do you have any relative in any of the relative which you have anyone in the armed force?
What mean?
You have
no,
right.
When he is asking that do you have any relatives in army force?
No, yeah, my cousin. Yeah.
So the question is for everyone. Do you prefer the safety of the Indian army? Yes, no. So we will surely make sure that we will produce the high-tech technology for them. So I agree right now in India the technology is growing, not at all. Okay. So now for the safety of the Indian army, we must produce them a lot of high-tech technology which are imported from other nations. But India is developing in its own way. Now there are many weapons which India has passed the technology from other countries. So I prefer our soldiers must be safe. So we will import other country products. But when our country will produce high advanced technology from other countries, we will give to them to the commanders.
Safety about our soldiers. In India, everyone feels that our soldiers should be safe. It is all about the technology that we are lagging behind in technology. My friend has said right thing. The Kaveri machine that has been manufactured in 1990, still it is not able to complete till that success. So we try to develop our technology because we have great scientists in India. Not even NASA.
What is the reason? What is the reason behind the technology still not been developed in our country.
See, as you say, like you people are talking about something like India is behind and India is lagging about technology, and being an entrepreneur, that what we are actually doing. That is actually a question that you have to debate about it.
Privatization in defense security.
Okay.
Privatization in defense security, that will give.
Let him. Yes, please.
Privatization of defense system has happened in 2018. Before that, only the government companies are producing a defense system, so the exposure to the defense is not much before the 2018. After 2018, the government has give permitted and give license to the private players to manufacture the defense equipment to the India. From 2018 to 2024, from the past 6 years, the defense export has been gradually increased. Means from 0% to it has increased gradually. So in upcoming days, we are becoming a very great in manufacturing of the defense equipment, and we are export, and we are the largest exporter of defense equipment to the Armenia. We are succeeding in that, and our defense equipment is of very high quality and which is of very low cost. So our technology and our defense system and the privatization of defense system, which actually helped us to produce more defense equipment and to innovate more in that. Thank you.
So I want to give another bit of information to the team. Is that recently for technology, recently Solar Industries, it is based on Indian company. It is producing AI-based drone systems in India, totally controlled by AI. It's one of the examples for growing technology in India. That's all, sir.
Fine. What do you consider, everyone? Let him complete.
Sorry for my question. My question is that so many organizations are providing the skills to...
Let me clear that. How many of you agree with that? Like giving contracts for private people to go ahead with manufacturing of weapons. How many of you will agree with this? Okay. And why?
When it comes to weapons, there is a lack of weapons that have been for India. So instead of going in privatization in all other business sector, the main thing is we can work in the defense force. So that
I am thinking in the perception of a safety, because if the manufacturing of weapons and ammunition that goes to the private hands, understand? Do you think a safety point that what people were talking, will that be there?
Sir, like now the people who are thinking about safety before 1947, there will be no freedom of sir. They left the safety and they gone to the war so that we have the freedom.
Now we have got a freedom.
Yes, sir. Now also we should not forget that we have safety, but we should go for the technology and improvement of the country. Safety comes second, sir. That's what I should say. Safety comes again. First we should go to the forward, whether it is safety or unsafety, we should go step into the forward process.
So you mean to say that we have to get into the manufacturing first, then we have to grow and we have to move ahead.
Yes, sir. Whether it's a safety or unsafety.
Okay.
That's what you're saying.
Yes, please.
Students, under the industrial policy of 1991, from 1956 to 1991, the government of India has got changes in privatizing of defense sector, where I think approximately 30% of the defense manufacturing is also given to private. So it has been implemented from the policy itself. Okay, if you have any such doubts in that, you can refer back towards industrial policy of 1991, where it has been provided. Which means not the major portion is being provided for manufacturing towards the private, but a certain percentage is allocated for certain equipments where you can manufacture from the private also. Because many of the times you cannot think that only the government of India will only manufacture the equipments. It is also taken from the private sector also, where scrutiny is being made and implications is being made. Set of rules and regulations is also being provided. Is that clear?
Following the same thing, sir, as you said, as sir you said that what about the safety? So if we talk about the most big defense equipment manufacturer, the USA, the most of the companies are private, like Boeing, like Lockheed Martin, and the Dassault Rafale. From all the companies are private companies, and in USA also even the jails are having in the private contractors. So if we think about, if we just make a policy that can secure the intellectual property, so that suppose the private firm is there and they are producing something and they are selling that technology to a foreign or enemy country. So we have to just make sure that everything is under the control of the government and let them produce. That's it.
Other topics don't drag the same
I'm just getting into this. Yes, please.
Okay, sorry for my question. My question is that so many organizations are providing the schemes for, especially for women entrepreneurs, and like banks are giving loans to women entrepreneurs to start up their business, but the startup percentage and occupying percentage is very less. My question is that why women entrepreneurs are not ready to get that schemes and not ready to get that business?
See, his question is that there are n number of schemes which are available and under state and central government for women entrepreneurs, but still women people are not taking that benefit and they are not becoming entrepreneurs. That is what his question is. Yes, please.
As my brother said, there is no lack of women entrepreneurs in India. As we can see, the team is full of boys. You may take a chance and you can conclude a girl. You can be a part of our team so that you can gain some knowledge and you can start a business. Instead of getting zero knowledge, she may get at least 10 to 15% of knowledge. The initiative should come from them. Later, you may ask questions, sir. Why the woman entrepreneurs is
Okay. For this example, is my sister. She did a business like a nursery business from last 1-2 years back, and now it's getting in a profitable business, and that business also is under my sister's name. When they start the business, they will know what to do and what not to do. Like they need, first of all, they will need to start right. If they start, they will know how to do and what to do like that.
You should the one who should educate them.
Yeah, but my question is that why they are not occupying the schemes? That's all.
It's lack of awareness.
Fine. See, awareness point that we have already discussed about it, so that it is all about individual where they have to go and they have to get it. Understand? So that government is putting a lot of efforts to create awareness, but it is the platform that you have to choose and you have to take inputs from the government. Understand? That is one thing. See, I have a question over here. As like our students were talking something like we are lag behind somehow technology, but still technology is upgrading in India. But still, why this entrepreneurship concept has not yet brought increase in agricultural sector even though technology is upgrading? Even though technology is upgrading, entrepreneurship concept has not brought much when it comes to agriculture sector.
So when it comes to agriculture sector, the major percentage of the people who do agriculture is uneducated and illiterate people. As you say, technology can be used by the full maximum professional and skilled person. So the program should be reached to the uneducated and illiterate person, so that the people in the agriculture sector can now educate that there is a proper scheme available for the particular person.
You know how to use pen, right?
Yeah.
Right. So that you cannot call a farmer as an uneducated.
It's
illiterate. Understand? He is not an uneducated. So that everybody is educated. So that only the thing is that even though technology has upgraded, so that as let us consider that our ancestors, that the old people, that farmers, that they don't have education, but still we are all young people. We are all young people and we are all young entrepreneurs, ambitious entrepreneurs. But still, why it is not getting into the agriculture space?
But they are the one who say don't come to the agriculture, go to the technical field or the IT field. So they are the one person who have done agriculture and now they are illiterate, so they don't talk used to technology. And they are saying that don't come to the agriculture, please go to the IT field. It may be useful.
Yeah. Yes, please.
So there are n numbers of programs conducted in the agriculture in rural background to know the agricultural updates, and there is a one barrier that the technology is used, the fertilizing content will be coming less. Like when they update with the technologies, like other than
starting you mean to say that like using more technology technology will reduce fertility of the land?
Yes, sir. Fertility of land and.
How many of you agree with this? Mean to say using more technology will reduce fertility of the land. Try to understand fertility, not fertilizer. Fertility of the land.
Quality of land, growing crop is reducing, sir. Initial past from when we come to the past, there will be a yield. Crop yield will become for years or of 2 years.
See, compared to other countries, India is most suitable country for the agriculture. Whether you use technology or not. Understand? However, the cultivation process is different for us. But still, if you are implementing, technology in that, obviously that more of, yield will be there. But still, our young entrepreneurs are not focusing on it. Why? Yes.
Sir, as she told, I came Bangalore for MBA purpose. Okay, I have so much 10 to 12 acres of my land in my hometown. I came here. I want to do MBA, and in my future plan I want to do business, agriculture business. I have my own family business. I want to do that, but some of people came to Bangalore and they do a job in a company. They settled here in future. But the thing is, but after coming to Bangalore, they are staying here. But the thing is, what we can do is we can learn here, like what we can do. Take an exposure of new things. We can do what all are new technologies we can adopt in our agricultural sector. By we can go back to our hometown, we can adopt that all things like in agricultural roof something technology I came. I don't know about that much. I know like little hydroponic technology. By a little bit of small piece of area, we can grow more number of veggies and all. So that we can, if we go to our hometown and we start our own business, then we can earn wealth. We can give educate to several people who are needing it, and we can create an employment from that. So
I do not agree on that. Farmers and rural people are illiterate or uneducated, because most of the schemes are used by rural and the agriculture people. And in my village also, we will conduct 3 Gram Sabhas in a year, and the whole village will gather and they discuss about the what are the schemes that our governments are providing, how we have to avail it, and these are the schemes we are discussing on that. But the main problem is that about the technology is that in our village, the farmers have only 3 acres, 4 acres of land. The expenses for the equipments are very heavy, and the government will give a subsidy. In my, we also have bought one equipment around cost like 1 lakh. We have applied for subsidy, but the government did not provide any kind of subsidy for them. The lack of funds or this kind of. So the proper implementation of the government schemes in the ground level is.
So what you as an entrepreneur are going to do about this problem?
Yes, the first thing is that we have to implement the schemes in a ground level very effectively. The subsidy is announced. In a ground level, the subsidy is not receiving as they are told or as they are announcing. These are the main problem. The lack of use of technology in that agriculture.
Now, have you heard of this term called DBT?
Yes, I have heard that, and I have
what is that?
I have also DBT, the government scheme scholarship and any other things, and the government scheme direct to bank transaction.
Beneficiary transfer.
Yes, I have heard that, but we have applied for 2 subsidies. I have received 1 subsidy, and another one is I have not yet received till today. So the lack of use of technology in agriculture is the main problem is this, and another one is that.
So, do you think lack of technology is the main problem for agriculture sector not becoming higher productivity?
No, sir. Because I could give an example of a startup which makes areca tea. For example, areca tea. The thing is, we must actually educate farmers not about how to produce, how to utilize it. For example, ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಮಾತಿದೆ, ತೆಂಗಿನ ಮರ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ಉಪಯೋಗಗಳೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೋಕೋನಟ್ ವಾಟರ್, ಕೋಕೋನಟ್ ಟ್ರೀ, ಆ ಗರಿಯಿಂದ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಬ್ಯಾಸ್ಕೆಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ದಟ್ how you utilize and how you understand the market.
So where is the problem according to you?
Educating people about the startups which are already there, one, and educating farmers how they can really enter into markets. For example,
so you are talking from one angle. Talk from the other angle. Why entrepreneurs are not entering agriculture sector?
I'd like to share my opinion regarding this one, because like already NCF is proposed by the MS Swaminathan, NCF National Commission on Farmers. As per this, like it's already working on the like how to control the death rate of the like farmers, and it's already promoting the like young entrepreneurs to enter into the business, and it is like giving the like choices to the foreign investors to come into the India and invest in the like agriculture. And I would like to share about my another opinion. Already NABARD is there, and there are n number of like private and like private and banks are there. They are providing the loans in a like 0% of interest just for the agriculture. If they want to start the business, they can get the like loan. Like if they want to start any such kind of like agriculture product, they can easily get the loans in the banks.
See, we are not talking about like how we get a fund from government, how we are going to manage and how technology is impacting. The innovation, I mean to say, entrepreneurship concept itself says that it's a kind of a innovation. Understand? So as finance is major problem for entrepreneurs, how do you resolve this? How do you resolve this problem? Yes, please.
Sir, the debate has been gone through the agriculture side, and most of the people are saying that why the farmers and the people are not going into the agriculture sector. I think the one of the
try to understand, be on the point, please. Don't talk. We have talked about agriculture. So my point is like finance has become a major problem for entrepreneurs, for startups. What is your thought about it?
No, someone has said the technology is the
No, I'm coming out of it.
Okay.
The point is, funds have become major problem for entrepreneurs. That how do you resolve this?
If the fund is a problem, then we should go for the schemes that are provided by government. That is simple.
Is that only the way that we can?
No, actually sometimes funds is available. I am giving the perfect example. I have seen my neighborhood, approximately all farmers, they are doing the agriculture thing, but they don't have the proper training. One perfect example will solve all the doubts. The distributing of urea in the land, it should be mixed with water and then it should be distributed. But what they are doing, they are distributing the raw urea into the land. Few urea particles are absorbed by, taken by the plant. The rest of the urea is sitting idle in the land. 50 kg of urea is not required for a particular land. If you mix it with the water and then you spray, the most of the particles of urea will be absorbed by the plant and the less urea will be used. So what is the output? The training, the lack of training. They don't know how to use it. They have funds, they have money to buy 50 kg of urea, but apart from 50 kg, they can use the same process with the 10 kg of urea. Sometimes fund is not a problem, the training is the problem. So we should train them. That is the
We have to say that fund is not a problem.
Sometimes fund is not a problem, but training is also a problem.
There are a lot of schemes that are given by the government of India, like Startup India scheme has been introduced. Adult innovation missions are there. In adult innovation mission, there are 10 crores up to 5 years has been given to the entrepreneurs, like from youth, for youth only, for 18 plus to 29 years. And there are Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana is there, and Sido Bank's Small Industrial Development Organization is there, and for especially for human entrepreneurs, there is a National Institutions of Entrepreneurship and Small Business Development has been especially for human entrepreneurs. There is a loan has been provided to the human entrepreneurs.
Okay, let me just add one question to this. Like, somebody was talking about social imbalance in providing funds. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that social imbalance which is existed in government schemes in providing funds for entrepreneurs?
Before you go for that particular question, let me go back to your previous question of what you have told. from 2019 to 2022, what you look today, the number of population in number has gone down to 148 million. When you talk about the GDP percentage also, before 2019 and after 2019, you can find 4% increase has been done in the population and 4% increase is done in the economic contribution of farming sector. So there are people who are looking as agriculture as in mining today, where they can take a good amount of money. The datas are good, but the training method what they're doing is that they're getting training from different other segments. For that it is taking time and they're entering to the agriculture sector for getting it with more money. When you compare to United States of America, towards the agriculture sector to India, United States of America is having less than 118 million of population who is going to agriculture sector. When you talk about Indian population today, you find 148 million people are going to agriculture sector today. And the contribution from economy from primary sector towards United States of America and India is, United States of America doesn't have so much of contribution, where India has got 22% of economy's contribution from agriculture sector. So it has been improvising. There are still methods which you need to put forth, innovations, technologies and funds where it can be better in that sector.
Yeah. Coming to the point over here about the funds that social injustice, that where categorized way of segregating the funds through schemes. How many of you agree with that? I mean to say that like government is providing schemes, funds, everything, but still it is provided based on religion, based on category. So how many of you agree with it? Yes. Yes. There is no equality in giving funds for entrepreneurs.
In giving the fund allocation, there are many categories. Like first, it will go to SC/ST category. Then OBC. It is for some schemes there is such type of like still social imbalances. Like where one of my teammate has already applied for Mudra Yojana 2 times, but as he was a general category, he was rejected directly 2 times. So there are some social imbalances and the poverty lines. They are not like like some they will be able to fund their own agricultural needs or anything, but still they will apply to these schemes where it will for low subsidy rates. So it will like affect people who are really in need. It will not reach them.
So if you ask this question to government, and government will say that like we are equally distributed in this. Yeah, we are distributing equally the funds for every entrepreneurs. Because the proposal, if you are submitting, whether you are whatever the category you are under, understand one or the other scheme will be related to you, and it will be funds will be released based on that. How do you justify that? Yes, please.
Category-wise distribution of benefits has been a long controversial topic for a long time. So if you ask the government to distribute the resources evenly, it's not in their interest, because they want to make their vote. They will, if they are finding in a particular area, particular state, the SC in the majority, they will say that all the things are for SC only. So it has been a controversial topic for a long time. No government is going to do that. They don't have any intention to do that. Dr. Bhimrao Rao Ambedkar said the reservation in India for only 10 years. Why from 1947 it is still dragging? No government wants to do that. They want to play that card. So if we say there will be equality in the distributing the resources evenly, it's totally myth and it's not going to come in future.
So you are saying that it is just a myth?
Yeah, it's no government has intention.
The government will provide a fund equal to all the caste, OBC, SC, ST or a general, as you mentioned.
No, I did not mention that. Government will provide funds for you based on category.
When I take an example of SSP scholarship, the SC, ST caste were getting a scholarship 80,000, but the OBC category and the general minute not able to take it scholarship only. When we take an example for SSP scholarship, when I go directly to the government office, they said they will provide. But even though I didn't receive any scholarship from the SSP scholarship. If we apply also, there are approval sometimes technical issue, approve and sometimes.
Okay. See, as we are all talking about something like injustice when it comes to the funds distribution from the government.
Actually, you need to look at the percentage of the GMs today. You need to look at the percentage of OBCs today. You need to look at the percentage of SCs today. You need to look at the percentage of STs today. If you talk about GMs have got more percentage as per the government of India, where they have got a survey. If you talk about SCs in Indian percentage, 16% of the population goes to SCs, okay? 8% of the population goes to STs. OBC has got 35%. So when the schemes are being made, looking at the population size today and the percentage of people belonging to so and so categories, as per that they give more importance to the caste which has been going underprivileged castes. So that is where they are getting more schemes to those people and not letting out the other caste also. As per the service which they made. That is what you cannot give the scheme. You cannot give the scheme. See, just a simple question is that you cannot give a food where the stomach is full. See, that is what the schemes are, right?
No, what if, see, as you said, we agree with that, even though it is based on the category, so that what if that scheme is not employed by the particular?
Okay, let's change the topic. Talk about
It's going to be a hot debate if you talk about minority, if you talk about other things. Let us concentrate on the topic, core topic,
Everyone, madam, we are not talking about any caste or any religion or any category over here. We are on platform that we are focusing on the funds distribution based on the category which is happening. As sir rightly said that categorized population will decide the categorized fund distribution, as you said. But what if the particular categorized distribution, what it is reserved for the particular category, if that is not being utilized and other people will lose it? Obviously.
What I'm telling is that today what is happening is that when the schemes are mentioned to different other segments today, migration of people are happening, migration of one caste to another caste, there it has been happening. Now what I'm telling is not about the schemes, how the schemes are being given to different other segments depending upon the population size, depending upon the people percentages in that particular caste. See, if you talk about the Constitution of India today, you find the Constitution is clearly telling the below average caste among the percentage should be uplifted. If you talk about the ST today, it is 8%. So how does the government of India thinks to uplift these particular castes is that by providing the schemes where their preferences will be more and other preferences will be less. Getting the point? If you talk about ST population today, 16% is there. If you talk SC population, 16%. ST population is 8%. And OBC population is 35%. Now what I tell you, we'll give more preference to this segment. Second segment preference will be given to ST. Third segment preference will be given to OBC. Where the major population is 60% of the remaining GF, etc. The preferences will be less for them. The schemes are given for everyone, but preferences will depend upon which category you belong to.
Now, will that affect the entrepreneurial spirit? Will that affect the entrepreneurial spirit? One by one.
Data has been used to prepare themselves.
So suppose if you are government. So suppose if you are a government, sir, there is a 30% of entrepreneurs coming from general people and the 40% of entrepreneurs coming from OBC and the rest of 30% is 13 or 20% is coming from SC/ST and SC/ST. What preference you will give, sir?
Sir, that is what I am telling you. Now why government of India is listen. Why government of India is concentrating on women entrepreneurs is that the percentage of population of women coming to entrepreneurship is less. That is where they give you. Suppose if you install a solar panel, why the government of India is giving schemes of solar panel today? Subsidies why it is being given to promote it. So that is where promotion is happening because these people into the main segment is less. So that is what I am trying to tell you with the numbers and the data.
don't take me wrong. So what I am saying is actually which caste, which sector has more percentage of coming into the innovative idea, they should be given preference to the first. Because suppose if general people are coming 40% of innovation idea, these sectors of people should be more preference. So that
now the question is,
how do you identify? How do you identify? See, 1 minute. You are saying that funds should be given to the particular category who is coming with the entrepreneurship ideology. How do you identify that? It is quite harder. It is quite harder for anybody or any government to take a decision about innovative thought process in a particular category.
Yes, sir. As we see in our JEE mains exams, even the ranking also for 81% if I got, but they give the marking up to 89 for the general. But for the SC/ST it is 41%.
So that is not happening in the funds distribution, sir. Nowhere it is connected. Ranks are different. Ranks are different. It doesn't happen when it comes to the funds distribution. Yes, guys. Wait. Don't go out of your point. The point is that where you have to stand entrepreneurship and fund distribution based on category. Don't go out of it.
My question is this discrimination or misbalance required today? That's the question for me, because everybody has to get equal opportunity, equal funds. Everybody can grow. It's not that certain privileged categories were there. I don't think so. They are still at that same point now. They are also developed. So,
answer to your question. So I don't know how many of you know this. Understand? So when you are applying for any funds for the government, so there is sort of policy and regulations, and qualification also based on their innovative idea, based on the quality and based on the qualification. Understand? So they are distributing and they are providing funds for it. Are you getting? Let me tell you, like as people were talking about a scholarship, even scholarships are given based on the percentages. Understand? The same way the quality of your ideology will be provided. Understand? That will be taken into consider when you are given with the funds from the government. Understand? That distribution, there is a part of differentiation when it comes to providing funds based on category.
As sir said, the scholarship is providing on the percentage. First, I would like to say for my own state, Uttar Pradesh, before it was the Yogi government, the first batch of the scholarship was initiated for the SC/ST. My brother, I also applied. I was in 10th, I was in 11th. I never got a scholarship because in my portal it was said the fund has been finished. Fine. First fraud is if that is the case. What if I also need the scholarship? But they are least bothered. They just bother about the caste. They are not bothered for the needy. They are just bothered about the caste.
Just a minute. You see, if you have innovative idea, if you are giving proposal to the government, understand, scholarships are quite different when it comes to this, providing it. Understand? When you are having innovative idea and there is a sort of procedure where you have to write it for the government and you have to take an approval. Once the approval is done, obviously that funds will be released for you. Understand? Based on the quality of innovative idea. Understand? Quality of innovative idea and how much funds that you are investing and what is your exact plan for future being an entrepreneur. Understand? Yes, please.
So in case if a person that is general category person want to start up a business is if he apply for a loan, he doesn't get approved, sir, from the government as the SC/ST category get approved easily. Whereas if you have innovative ideas also, you can't start up his business. There is a discrimination in the category.
Just a minute. Did you hear here? She is saying that even though innovative ideas which are existed in the general category, if we are applying for the government, so we are not getting, and it is not getting approved from the government. This is what is her statement. How many of you agree with this?
Wait one second. Listen first. There is nothing called as a category idea.
Yes.
Keep in your mind. There is nothing called as, listen to me first. There is nothing called as category idea. Please stop debating on this. There is something called Startup India. Do you know? Startup India, do you know? You go, just log into the website, register yourself, give your idea, they will call you, they will fund you. That is called seed funding. You know what is seed funding? On the basis of your business plan, they will fund you if you require. They will give you incubators. They will help you. Technology-wise, they will help you. You know, after 2014, there is a improvement in the number of entrepreneurship, number of the new companies establishing. There is number of unicorns that are developing. Have I showed you or not the video? Right? So why can't you talk about, there is nothing called as a category idea. Category comes only on the certificate, not on your ideas. If you are a brilliant, nobody stops from buying, saying that he is a ST, don't buy. Do you do that? If somebody is selling Apple or ST people, will you stop buying from them? If it is good, nobody will stop you from buying. The good quality product, the good innovative product will not stop you from buying just because of caste. So forget about it. Talk about the innovation, technology, funding, the support from the government. Stop talking about the category. Please.
Every state or central government does promote entrepreneurship. The question here is, how effective has the governments been in promoting entrepreneurship?
You are saying that Startup India, if we give our idea, it will provide us the fund. You are saying only one platform. We will. You are saying only one platform about Startup India or Make in India.
One platform. There are multiple platforms. You should know it.
One second, ma'am. There are MSME schemes and so many schemes. It will provide based on the category only. Based on, yes, ma'am. Yes,
I'll just clarify. The lone warrior. She is going to speak in front of you today about the topic.
Good afternoon, Manila present here. I am Bhavani KG from 4th and B section. Today I am going to talk about the contribution of entrepreneurs to a nation growth. Let's imagine for a moment the world before internet, smartphone or digital payments. It was a world where opportunities were limited to those with access to resources, leaving many bright minds behind. But as technology evolved, we saw something incredible. The rise of entrepreneurship transformed the landscape. Today, in every corner of the global, ordinary people with extraordinary ideas are able to three-phase entire economy and society. In India, it is a part of that transformation. Countries like Israel, Singapore and South Korea are the perfect example of how entrepreneurship can lift a nation. Take a South Korea for instance. In 1960, it was one of the poorest countries in the world with limited natural resources and agriculture and solely dependent on agriculture economy. But they had one asset, people with ambitions. With focused government support and culture of innovation, South Korea encouraged the growth of startups and small businesses, which paved the way of some of today's tech giants like Samsung, Hyundai. By empowering its people to innovative and take risks, South Korea went from struggling economy to one of the most technologically advanced nations in the world. Imagine if India could have the same entrepreneurial spirit, unlocking the potential in every town and village, creating not just jobs but solution for unique challenges. That isn't just a vision, it's already happening and we are witnessing it too. Think back to a time where we couldn't even book a ticket by our own. Even though buses were the second most common transportation in India, the ticket tracking system was disorganized. We would have to go to brokers to reserve the bus tickets. But not anymore. Mr. Panindra Sharma changed everything with Red Bus. Today we can Today we can book a bus ticket from anywhere, choosing the timings, bus type, preferred seats, even a price with standard of what started as one entrepreneur's drive to fix a common inconvenience has made it travel as accessible to hassle-free for millions. Similarly, remember a time when cash was the only way to pay? Running short of change, you either buy something extra or settle for chocolates. Forget your wallet, you need to shift your plan of purchase itself. But Vijay Shankar Sharma and Paytm all have changed the way we purchase now. Now all you need is a smartphone where you can shop, pay and even buy a cup of chai in a street vendor, all without cash. This single innovation has empowered both consumers and small business across India, creating a seamless and cashless economy. And it doesn't stop there. Ola has made travel easier by putting end to the days of negotiating with auto drivers. Swiggy has brings restaurants menu to your doorsteps, no longer limited choice to neighborhood eaters. Dunzo now helps you drive items from one place to another instantly, and InstaMojo has made small business to receive payments online. These are just few examples that highlight how Indian entrepreneurs are reshaping our everyday lives. All these progress become possible because someone saw and took an action and committed a change things for a better. India is already home to some of the most innovative minds and determined business leaders. Our country has become one of the fastest growing startup ecosystem in the world, with new ideas emerging across sectors. But the true potential of entrepreneurship in India isn't just in big tech cities like metropolitan city. It's in smaller town too. Rural areas where people are involving every day, finding solution for problem they deeply understand. Imagine the power of enabling these ideas, giving people the resource and support they need to turn their ideas into growing business. Entrepreneurship is about giving power back to the people. It's allow individuals to create their own path, often challenging traditional norms. When a rural woman starts a small business in her home and gradually scales it up with technology, she's not just support her family, she's transforming her community, she's setting example for others too, and breaking cycle of dependency. India's greatest challenges are also a greatest opportunities too. While some entrepreneurs focus on making life easier, others take big important problems specific to India. It may be education, healthcare, finance, etc. For example, Seva Rural. It's an organization that develops a low-cost medical kit for midlives in remote villages. This kit is not just a product, it's a lifeline for rural areas women and maternal and child health, all while creating sustainable employment within those communities. A nation grows stronger with its people have a sense of agency, a belief that they can change their own circumstance. Entrepreneurship fosters a belief of provide leaders with self-reliance. When someone starts a small enterprise, they not only earn income but also build a confidence. Learn a new skill, inspire others. This ripple effect is powerful. Let's remember India's diversity is a strength. In every region, there is a unique skills and talent waiting to be nurtured. If we create an ecosystem that values local innovations, we can bring thousands and hundreds of talents into mainstream economy. And when we empower these individuals, whether they are in the heart of Bangalore, Mumbai or remote villages like Chikmagalur, we are setting the foundation for strong, more innovative nation. Entrepreneurs are not just business owners, they are architects of our future. They are building the roads of a prosperous, self-reliant India, where every individual has opportunity to make difference. By supporting and fostering entrepreneurship, we are creating a nation where innovating thrives, where people from backgrounds contribute to the economy, and where no one left behind. Let's support our entrepreneurs and create future where everyone can dream, build and succeed. Thank you.
Everyone, myself Bhagwan Mehta. Today I am here to discuss about some interesting topic. Okay, how entrepreneurship is contributing in the growth of the nation. Okay, first we will discuss what exactly mean by the entrepreneurship. Like anyone of you wants to share something about this? Good. I will get into the thing. The term entrepreneurship represents much more than just starting up a business. It defines a creative vision, risk-taking and restless pursuit of the opportunity. The significance of the entrepreneurship development is crucial. Okay. Do you know who is the godfather of the entrepreneurship studies? No. It's a Harvard Stevenson, known as the godfather of the entrepreneurship studies at a Harvard Business School. Okay. He defines it as the pursuit of the opportunity beyond the resource control. Okay. We will get into the important topic, functions of the entrepreneurs in the economy. Okay. In the layman's term, an economy can be defined as the general area of production, distribution, trade, consumption. It follows the simple rules of demand and supply. Whether the consumer needs, demand is produced and supplied by the producers in the economy. Okay. Let us see some important function of an entrepreneur fulfills in the economy. The first one is the contribution to the GDP. Second one, it is the foreign exchange earnings. The third one, it is generates the employment. Fourth, it's maybe tax generation, and so on. So there are so many things out there. Okay, I would like to share some numbers with you. Okay, the first one, what is the contribution to the GDP for the by the entrepreneurs? Okay, first we'll talk about the startup sector. As of 2020-22, the startup ecosystem alone contributed over $150 billion to the Indian's GDP. Okay, MSME sector, the micro, small, and the medium enterprises, which forms the backbone of the Indian entrepreneurship, contributed nearly 30% to the India's GDP and 45% to the industrial output. Okay, we'll come to the important topic. It's a job creation. Okay, if we talk about the direct employment, the Indian startup generated approximately 1.5 million jobs as of 2023. Okay, the second one is the MSME. The MSME sector employed over 110 billion people across India in 2020-22, contributing to the 40% of the India's total workforce. Okay, if we talk about the foreign investment, in 2020-23, the Indian startup ecosystem attached 24 billion in a venture capitalist investment. If we talk about the foreign direct investment, FDI, in the MSME sector, they reached 81 billion in financial year 2022. I will come to the conclusion for this first part. The role of the entrepreneurship in the economic development plays an important part in promoting the new businesses. Truly, the learning all about this domain will equip you with the essential tools and the knowledge necessary to succeed in the future. Thank you. Thank you everyone.
I am explain about the state and central government initiative for promoting the entrepreneurship ecosystem and nurturing future entrepreneurs. Government at both the central and state levels in the many countries, including India, have recognized the importance of entrepreneurship in economic growth and innovation. They have launched several initiatives aimed at promoting the entrepreneurship ecosystem and nurturing future entrepreneurship. Central government initiatives, Startup India Initiative, launched in 2016. Startup India is one of the flagship programs of the Government of India to promote entrepreneurship. The initiative offers a range of benefits including tax exemption for startups for the first 3 years, self-certification for compliance with labor and environmental law. Second, Atal Innovation Mission, launched by NITI Aayog, aims to foster innovation and entrepreneurship across the country. Atal New India Challenge and aims to promoting initiatives in sectors like agriculture, health, with supporting for prototyping and commercialization. Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Under Mudra Yojana, the government provides financial assistance to micro and small business through loans up to 10 lakh rupees. This initiative helps entrepreneurs, especially from rural and under areas. Startup India scheme. The scheme encourages entrepreneurship among women, scheduled caste, scheduled tributes. It provides loan between 10 lakh to 1 crore rupees. State Government India, Telangana. Technology Hub in 2015. Innovation and Mobility Program in Karnataka. Startup Policy 2015. Karnataka Innovation Authority. Maharashtra Startup Policy 2017. Mumbai FinTech Hub. Gujarat Startup 2015. International Center for Entrepreneurship and Technology. Kerala Startup Mission 2015. Startup Zone. Tamil Nadu Startup Policy 2018. Chennai Startup Ecosystem.
Contributing to the nation's growth and their importance. Good afternoon, everyone. Today I stand before you to highlight the pivotal contribution of entrepreneurs to our nation's growth and development. Entrepreneurs are the unsung heroes of our economy, driving innovation, creating employment and fostering progress. Entrepreneurs are the engines of job creation, providing opportunities for millions of individuals to earn a livelihood. According to the Small Business Administration, small businesses and startups business for over 60% of new job creation. This not only becomes economic growth but also enhances the standard of living for countless families. Despite their vital contributions, entrepreneurs face numerous challenges, access to funding, regulatory hurdles of talented acquisition. However, these challenges also present opportunities for innovation, collaboration and growth. In conclusion, entrepreneurs are the backbones of our nation's growth, driving innovation, job creation and progress. Let us recognize their importance, support their endeavors and celebrate their success. Thank you.
Everyone, I am Chandana. Today I am here to discuss about incredible importance for country progress. As we all know, entrepreneurs are the risk takers, the dreamer and the builder of society. They are the key contributors to economic, social and technological progress. Let's take a look at how entrepreneurs contribute to our nation's growth and importance. Job creation and employment opportunities. Every business brings with a wave of employment opportunities, reducing unemployment and supporting the financial well-being of families. By creating a job, entrepreneurs support livelihoods and builds a stronger workforce that fuels the economy. Innovation and technological advancement. As we all know, entrepreneurs are innovative spirit. They bring fresh ideas to the table, introducing new technology, products and solutions to solve everyday problems. The way they communicate, work and even access healthcare. This advancement increases productivity, make life easier and help the nation stay competitive in a rapidly evolving global landscape. Promoting exports and attracting foreign investments. Entrepreneurs contribute to national growth by producing unique products that reach international markets, boosting exports and bringing foreign exchange into the country. This strengthens the economy and helps build a trade relationship. Inspiring future generation. Finally, entrepreneurs serve as role models. Their stories of resilience, creativity and determination inspire the next generation to dream big and take risks. A nation that nurtures entrepreneurs foster a culture of innovation, growth and continuous improvement, qualities essential for long-term progress. As we all support and encourage entrepreneurship, we are investing in the future of our nation. By empowering entrepreneurs, we empower our society, our economy and to reach a new heights. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for your active participation, and let me just go through it and you might have questions. It's the last speech. We'll finish the speech and we'll wind up. Sir, we'll finish the speech.
Speech, huh? Oh, yeah, please.
Sorry.
Good afternoon, everyone. The topic today I'm going to speak about is how entrepreneurs are contributing to the India's economy. Entrepreneurs are just like engines to our economic country. So how fast they run, how efficient we run, that much fast we can go towards the goal of making India, startup India and everything. So currently there are 15.5 lakh jobs that have been created just in a year by startups. And in the year 2014, there were only 33.9% of entrepreneurs in India. But currently, we are at 51.3% of Indians' population are towards entrepreneurship. And according to Global Entrepreneurship Report also, India is standing at the second place in entrepreneurship, where in 2016 we were at the 16th place. So gradually India is growing towards entrepreneurship. And also one of the best example for it is never late or it is never too late or it's never too early to start up businesses. Shravan Kumar and Sanjay Kumaran, they were at the age of 10 and 12 years when they started the app called Go Dimensions. So at that young age they could create wonders just by having an innovative thought. Just like that, Lachan Das Mittal, at the age of 60, he started up a business and today he has a current net worth of rupees 100 crores. So the main thing a business or an entrepreneur requires is a nice idea, creative idea and the consistency to be in it. And also there are many disadvantages of entrepreneurship, like no limited fundings or regulatory framework. To decrease these things, India has brought many schemes which provide collateral-free loans. So the frameworks and legal restrictions have been eased. And also for access to funding, there are many private government central schemes, like there are 42 central government schemes and 205 state government schemes that are being provided to entrepreneurship. So any time it's not too late to start up any business.
About the financial inclusion part and financial burden is faced by entrepreneurs, GDP concepts, again education, awareness programs on entrepreneurs, fund management, social injustice in fund distribution, a lot of problems that we have discussed about entrepreneurship and entrepreneur development, right? So being entrepreneurs, it is now you come up with new innovative ideas and that could recommend to the government. Are you getting? So it is not about just discussing problems that what we are being facing and what entrepreneurs are facing. So it is all about like the concept behind this is like you have to come up with the solutions. Being entrepreneurs, just think in other way where how you can resolve all these problems whatever that we have. Understand? So thank you for participating in IAC Council. Thank you very much.